What's up, y'all? It's your girl Brianna in the show, and you are now tuned into the Diary of a Yapper podcast show. Here's the thing nobody really tells you. Boundaries don't hurt the wrong people. They hurt the people who benefited from your lack of them. That's why setting boundaries feels so heavy, because the people closest to you feel it first. I learned that the hard way, though, through relationships, both platonic and romantic. So vibe out while y'all breathe. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Brianna in the show, and you are now tuned into the Diary of a Yapper podcast This is the show where I yap entirely way too much, yet somehow you still keep coming back for more. I like that. Yes, this is finally the space where can't nobody tell me to shut up. A safe space for all my overthinkers and the ones whose desk was probably placed outside of the classroom. But I mean, hey, you still managed to get by with gifted qualifications, and that's all that matters. Let me share a quick life update, I guess while it's been taking so long for me to get back to y'all. So, first things first, welcome back to Diary of a Yapper. If you're new here, hey, I'm Bree.
Excuse me, do you work here? No, just a huge fan.
And this is basically my personal diary, but with the mic and some witnesses. Oh my gosh, it's 2026! First episode of 2026. Oh my gosh. I was supposed to do this back in January. It's March. But hey, not my timing, God's timing. Amen. So since this was supposed to be at the top of the year, I guess I can still talk to you guys because, I mean, it is the first episode of the year. So I know usually everyone is always like, you know, new year, new me, all the new goals. And I'm kind of always the party pooper. I'm like school resolution. If you want to do better, you should be better every day. But I mean, it's like I've always been the party pooper. Like everybody top of the year, like, these are going to be my new year resolutions. These are going to be my new goals. And then by the second week of January, everybody back to being them. So I just need everyone to like believe in that. But also that cutting people off on the 31st, whole new year, new me thing. No, if you want to cut somebody off, you can cut them off right then, right there, that day. Amen. But hey. Anyways, I did have a New Year's resolution this year, and I think I've been holding up to it. So I mean, hey, look at me. Tables do turn. But it wasn't like a major, well, it is major, but it's not one of those like, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds, bye. No, or in my case, I want to gain 50. But my goal this year was to just grow closer to God. I really want whatever God wants for me. At this point in my life, I've had enough with like the fighting. I mean, clearly, I'm not gonna win that battle. But you know, sometimes you just gotta show him that you got a little bit of heart, even though he know what you got because he made you. You know, he put whatever. Anyways, so I wasn't gonna win that battle, but I truly do believe that he's ordering my steps because with every loss I took in 2025, there was so much victory in like every single one of them. So let's see, first major loss. Oh my gosh, at the end of 2025, 4 days before my freaking birthday, I got like what I thought was the worst news of my life. Like back then, I was like pulling my hair out. Like, I actually haven't really talked about it to anybody except for like my mom. I kind of grazed over it with my brother. Like, I told him what happened. We hugged, you know, did what we did. And that was kind of like how we handle tough losses. We don't really chop it up too much, like give you a little hug, like, all right, you're fine, get back to it, brothers. Another resolution, I guess you can call mine, is to ask the Lord to replace like all of my coping mechanisms with like healthy desires. Oh, so back then and there, how I used to handle a tough loss, I used to use something else, a different type of medicine as a form of regulation. It was never a relier, it was a regulator. But I had to break that down and figure that out. So it's like every time I used to get stressed or everything was going too fast for me or I felt like I was overwhelmed, I used to pick up a different type of herb, a different type of plant that was planted in the ground. Probably not one that you should cook. That's not what I did with it. But that's so crazy. It just hit me right now talking to you guys. I haven't done that in, my calendar says, I want to say 22, 23 days. The name of that one, of my, I don't know what you want to call that thing. I don't know. But anyways, the name of it is called From Cloud Nine to Kingdom Mind. And I have been on this Kingdom Mindset for about 22 days. So that's pretty big. Giving myself grace with replacing that coping mechanism, because when you've been chronically doing something since the summer before ninth grade, it's just not going to just go away overnight. Or you might hate yourself for it, or you might have the urge to just keep giving it a try. So I wanted like the entire desire, the entire thought of the coping mechanism to like just go away. Because like the more that I was looking at it, it was like, what's the point for real? Like the more at peace I feel, the more I'm like, okay, I see I mainly only use this when I do this to fill the void with this. So yeah, I just honestly had to start praying on like removing that desire. It wasn't even so much on, oh my gosh, I have to stop doing this. Cause it's like, if you beat yourself up and you just strive to get rid of it, some things, like it's not gonna go away all the way for real. Like it's just not gonna work and it's just gonna make it harder. So I just kind of started praying for God to remove the desire for me to even want to do that. And honestly and truly, like, oh my gosh, y'all, it came so full circle. When you ask for things like that, you kind of gotta, it'd be like the prayers that you want him to like take his time with, them the ones that he answered quickly. But when you be like, oh God, send me my husband, please, still waiting on that one.
It's getting weird. But I still need to get this watch.
Yeah, it was like the smell started getting to me, like, and it's like I live in Atlanta, so it's like it's everywhere. Well, not even just here though; it's like everywhere in general now. Like they're giving you medical cards for it. Like it's legal so many places, decriminalized so many places. Like it's everywhere. And don't get me wrong, like sometimes it can be used in the form of medicine, but we ain't gonna say I was using it that way. So yeah, but honestly, it's been like I said, like 22, 21, 22 days since I've stopped doing that. So I'm actually pretty happy with that one. And since I've done that, I've had so much more energy. Like I love not walking around somewhere or going into a space and they're like, you got it. You feel me? Like, no, I don't got it on me. So it feels good for that. And people are actually starting to notice me. Like I went out the other day. I was telling my friend I ran into one of the old people that I always used to kick it with. He gave me a hug. And he was like, friend, you don't smell like smoke. And honestly, that like made my night. Like, y'all probably like, what type of compliment is that? But like, no, that made my day. So, yeah, that's my own conviction. We'll talk about that. But we ain't got to talk about it no more for real, because like I said, I was supposed to tell y'all this at the beginning of the year when I was setting the goals. So I already started kind of like walking like I talk it for real. So yeah, he's kind of been helping me out a lot with it. And it's so crazy because like a month from now is like the major holiday. Like everyone always hit me on this day. And it's like, I can't wait for people to hit me on this day. And I'm like, actually, I don't have any plans. Actually, I'm probably going to walk the dog. Actually, not those type of plans. no, it's not going to be a link up at Bree's house, you know? So, yeah. I did start a new job. It's like a maze boss, if I do say so myself. I'm trying not to get like too excited, but it is indeed one of those moments that God gave me that victory within a tough loss. Now, this was like the only job that I applied to after I was released from an assignment that no longer aligned. Y'all like how I said that? So y'all can stop saying that y'all got fired. No, you just got released from an assignment that was not aligned. Okay? Amen. But anyways, it's a prosthodontist, so I've only had like general experience. So I would like to say like he literally gave it to me because I've been rocking out like since I started. Like we do straight implants. Like we hardly work on any regular teeth. So I had like no experience in this. Like I had temped at a implant office before, but only for like a couple months, and they did like implant and general. So it was like still regular teeth, like maybe one single multiple was placed or something like that. But like, no, baby, we're doing the whole arch where I'm at now. So yeah, like I said, it was the only one that I applied to. Literally, and what happened was I was studying for dental school. I had just took my test, and I was still in hygiene school at the moment. But then Trump shut the government down. It was around last September. He shut the government down, and my mom worked for the government, y'all. And so Dad took her job away, and she didn't have one for like a couple of months. So I was like, okay, now I got to get back to it. Somebody got to do something. So then I just opened up my laptop, and I got on Glassdoor, and that was like the first one that came across. And I applied to it, and they called me back for like an interview within like maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So I did a phone interview, then I went and I did a working interview, and then after that, the rest was kind of just history. Like they put me on like a 3-month probation to see like if I could rock with it, and then the probation period was over the holidays, like November, December, and y'all know if y'all work in healthcare, especially in the dental field, like you know that's when everybody's trying to use up their benefits. That's crunch time. So basically, I was put to the test, and I knew it was from God because obviously I'm still there. So yeah, it just worked out. When I was released from the last assignment, I'm not gonna act like I just was so happy and like walking out the door like like I mean to like my coworkers and everybody else that was there. Of course, I was like, it's okay, like there's better, I'm fine, screw this job. But it's like on the inside, I was like, oh my God, Lord, why? Like I feel like I didn't even have time to pivot, and I was like, okay, you want me to do more? You want me to go to dental school? Like I'm applying, like with geesh, like you're not gonna ease me into it. So it's like I didn't work from February all the way to November. So like I was pulling my hair out. Like I understand you want me to move, but like that, like you ain't even gonna like yeah. So I ain't gonna act like it was just all peaches and creams, and I was just like, okay, God, I understand now. It's kicking, screaming, punching, fighting, everything. Like did not understand it, and because it's not like I got released from the assignment because I wasn't properly doing my job. I actually was doing my job really well. That was another thing that got me like, I'm doing everything you told me to do. I'm even sitting up here letting these people play with me in my face, like, but I'm following what you said. Like, ain't gonna take it from me. But what they say, when God takes you something, He gives something back tenfold. I swear. I'm just honestly grateful to where this new venture is taking me. You know, new money, new community, new life.
Better money, my clothes better, my shoes better. I work harder.
You feel me? Everything ain't always a loss. That brings me to the title of today's episode. It's about building boundaries. And before anybody gets triggered, no, this is not a cut everybody off sermon. Because if I'm being honest, I don't struggle with setting my boundaries. I struggle with keeping them while I still care. But before we get into that, we have now made it to our first segment of the show. This is our mindfulness segment. It is called Stillness in the Spiral. With this, what is one word to describe how you guys have entered 2026? I want you to think about it and keep it in mind throughout the segment as well as the episode. My word is abide. Oh, I love that word. And I love that I chose that word when I wrote this. Because truly, that's what I've been learning how to do, and it feels good. If you're one of my subscribers, I will hope you understand what that means. I know we had that talk on episode 1 that I'm not holding anybody's hand through this, okay? But it's not good to assume, so let's go with what the definition of abiding is. To abide is to be able to accept or act in accordance with a rule, decision, or recommendation. Hold on to that for me. And we're going to double back to it. Before we get into the mess, we got to slow it down because spiraling would have you breaking your own boundaries just to feel some type of relief. No, facts. Even when I wrote there, no, facts. Let me say that again. Spiraling will have you breaking your own boundaries just to feel some type of relief. All right, y'all, so it is now time for our breathing exercise. Wherever you are, driving, laying down, cleaning, I just want you to take a second to unclench your jaw for me real quick. Take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it for 4 seconds, and then let it out slow. So again, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it for 4 seconds, and let it out slow. I'm gonna let you take a couple on your own. I'm gonna vibe out while y'all breathe. Right. Wrapping this segment up, I want y'all to take this with you. Stillness isn't about having answers. It's about not reacting while y'all emotions are loud. Got that? Stillness is not about having all the answers. It's about not reacting while your emotions are loud. Most boundary breaks happen in the spiral. Late nights, nostalgia, boredom, loneliness. So the stillness gives you space between the urge and the action. So be still, twin. Okay, quick pause, because we are not about to be deep the whole time. I mean, I like to rack your brain, but not your mom.
You're not my dad!
You have now made it to the drip drop segment of the show. Yes, the fit check that none of you asked for, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. And the reason I do this segment is because getting dressed is also a boundary. How you show up matters. Sometimes the boundary is, I'm not showing up looking how I feel. Y'all, that has gotten me through so many days. Now, don't mask it now. Now, I'm not saying do that. I'm not saying do that. But sometimes a fly fit is all you need. So today's fit means business. If you can't tell, what Carlton used to say, I know y'all see my sweater. He was like slick the inspiration, but like Carlton, if he was in the hood and not Bel Air. You feel me? So, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
It's not unusual to be loved.
Type vibes. And since today's episode is talking about building boundaries, I wanted to give sophisticated but still fly. Black and class always have coexisted. Calm but still powerful. Very much quarter zip and macho vibe, minus the quarter zip. Very much can't even drink Cristal on this one. You gotta drink Cristal.
Baby girl, you know I love you though. You could tell my secrets, but I love you though. I could take you anywhere you wanna go. Anywhere you wanna go.
You got a piece of my heart. Nothing can tear us apart. You got a piece of my heart that belongs to you, girl. I can't let you have too much. I will have enough. I can't let you have too much.
Now, before you start hating, ask yourself, be honest. Ain't I'm clean, no?
This is the thing nobody really tells you. Boundaries don't hurt the wrong people. They hurt the people who benefited from your lack of them. And that's why setting boundaries feels so heavy, because the people closest to you feel it first. I learned that the hard way though, through relationships, both platonic and romantic. I'm gonna tell a story, not to drag anybody, but because it taught me something about boundaries I didn't learn until it hurt. This is about emotional intelligence and knowing when something isn't right without needing proof. Y'all, in the end, though, it was proven in the court of law. This story contains some topics that may be triggering for survivors and victims, and also provides even more insight into discernment and integrity. So let me take y'all back. This was summer 2017, and I was in summer school at A&T. Y'all know I'm always rep that North Carolina A&T. Can I get an Aggie pride? But no, I was in summer school because I had too much fun the previous semester. They took my financial aid. So this is going to be the only way I got it back. So I'm retaking Calculus 1 now. And I noticed this one girl in the class who kept getting all the answers right. So immediately I'm like, okay, I need to move my seat by her. After doing that, I started to notice like, hold on, she kind of funny. And that's how it be, like the people that think, like, y'all think the quiet ones, like, them be the ones, they be hilarious. So anyway, and you know me, I love a good jokey joke. So boom, it's giving nerd, but like a cool one. So we start chatting, she started helping me study, and I started passing the class and actually understanding this stuff. And if anyone knows me, you know that I hate numbers. I feel like I told y'all that on my first episode too, but like me, numbers, negative, you know? And it's like I can experiment with you all day with some chemicals, some equations. I could put the letters on the other side. Like I could really do you something like that. But like, I don't know, me and numbers have just never been one. So anyways, I suggested that we start hanging out after class. And it was really giving, you know, you teach me how to be smart. I teach you how to be cool, fair trade. You know, I think that's pretty even. So boom, I introduced her to my friend group that I had also just met in summer school, and we all realized we were all bio students at the time. And we formed like a study group, and I swear I thought I hit the jackpot. It was perfect, or it seemed to be anyway. We had a lot of fun that summer. Because I'm still cool with everybody else. That's the kicker. But anyways, I'm going to have some key points to keep us on track with the theme of the episode. So here's the first one. So I want to tell the story, but I also want to stick to the theme, stick to the script. So, because this story gonna go some places, so I gotta make sure that y'all stay locked in. Okay, first point. A boundary does not equal punishment. A boundary isn't you being mean. It's you saying this is where I end and you begin. I used to think boundaries meant I didn't care, but now I know boundaries mean I care enough about myself to not abandon me. So fast forward to fall semester, it's 2017, so this is now the start to my junior year of college, I think. Man, I had so much fun my freshman and sophomore year. Like, I went to summer school like every year after that, because like they say, it's so much easier to fall than it is to catch back up. But I caught back up, and I don't regret it. I wouldn't change none of it. But it's like, I kind of lose track of time with my class placements throughout the years, because I was a full-time student at that point once I messed up and had to get back right. So anyways, I moved off campus into like a townhome, and me and said friend, I'm going to rename everyone in this story. Okay, so yeah, they know who they are, but I'm gonna rename everyone. So let's call this friend Bethany. And we lived in the same complex. Now, by this time, everybody else from my friend group is still friends with me, but they kind of went their other ways when it came to Bethany. Should have been my first red flag, huh? But anyway, little old me insisted that Bethany was cool. Never me, like, I'm not one to like, the whole world can be against somebody. If I like that somebody, you can't make me not like that somebody. That somebody has to do something to me. Like, I very much have always thought for myself, chose my own friends, done my own thing. So it's like, just because some person says something about somebody, like, or a couple people can say something about somebody. Now I'm learning to use my discernment, but it's like, I'm not going to stop talking to so-and-so or start hanging with so-and-so or stop going to a group or a place because someone else felt slighted. That's not me. But anyways, boom. Little old me and Sister Bethany was still cool. Fast forward, junior year flies by, and it's now our senior year. Now, like I said, we were in townhomes, so we didn't have to do the whole move in, move out thing in between semesters. So I stayed in my same townhome. Bethany had issues with her roommates for like the second time. Ironically, the townhome right next door to mine came vacant. And then Bethany was able to move into it. So at this point, I'm on top of the world. I finally have a friend, splashed out like a college bestie, you know? Because I'm from Atlanta, obviously. And so I went to school in Greensboro, North Carolina. Like, not Charlotte, not Raleigh, like Greensboro. It's nothing but the school and a cookout. The mall, oh my God, I hated that. We're not even going to get into it. So, yeah. Boom. So we were around each other like every day. We ended up working together. We lived next to each other. And we were both biology students at the time. So, and we also enjoyed a lot of the same extracurricular activities. And that's when boundaries started blurring. Not because anything bad had happened yet, but because access was increased, if that makes sense. At the time, I didn't think anything of it because closeness felt natural. So I didn't think it was weird that we were like doing all these things together and spending all this time together. But here's another thing. Boundaries don't disappear just because the relationship feels safe. Okay? So, like I said, a boundary isn't a punishment, it's protection. So now Bethany didn't grow up on the same side of the tracks that I did either. She was black, of course, but what we would call a Jack and Jill, and that's okay, there's nothing wrong with Jack and Jills. That's pretty much what she was. So she stressed out all the time. I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I thought it was real. Like, she knew where she was, and she wasn't trying to be something else at that time. So by this time, I put Bethany onto a lot of game. Okay? So Bethany just started switching the way she dressed. She had this newfound confidence that comes with everything, you know? And at this point, you really couldn't tell her anything. She knew she could call me if anyone tried her. So now remember, this is college. So we have several different friend groups. Also, I was a year older than Bethany and a class higher. She was, like I said, just really freaking smart. So we both had our own separate friend groups because, mind you, we didn't meet until the summer before junior year anyway. So I've met her outside friend group, she's met mine. My outside friend group contained the hood pharmacist, wink wink. So of course everyone gravitated to my friend group eventually. Rihanna with the vibes, man. Always got the vibes. But now I got the vibes sober. You feel me? That's how you know you really got the vibes, by the way. But anyways, let me break the dynamics down of my outside friend group. So, like from my point of view, it all started freshman year. I had a homegirl who was already in a group chat. I met her at orientation, and she had already had like all the moves in there we could get something to. You feel me? So, anyways, we link up with the dudes from the chat. When I say get something, I mean like some medicine, not nothing else. Not that type of get something. Okay? Told you he was the hood pharmacist. I was going to get my meds. Okay? Keep up. But anyways, we link up with the dudes from the chat, and I ain't even gonna lie. I was so rude to them when we linked. I was a butthole. Like, every time we even look back and like we tell the story, like, because I'm still cool with the dudes. I'm not even cool with the homegirl no more. Like, and I just recently started being cool with the homegirl like a year ago. It just, sometimes you grow differently, you grow your separate ways. Like, I'm not even gonna say it's beef or nothing like that. Like, sometimes you don't know people till you go out of town with them. Like, and we didn't even just go out of town. We went out the country. We went to Cabo, and we had never went anywhere together other than probably like a little beach trip, a couple hours from school. And that trip didn't even go well. Like, I don't know where I thought Cabo would. We didn't even make it. We didn't even have a good trip in America. But anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, so we link up with the dudes from the chat. I was being a butthole, and I still be apologizing to them to this day because they really are some good people. But I just wasn't feeling the vibes. Like, I was a girl that was used to different things, and I wasn't impressed. And then, mind you, I had just moved from Atlanta to Greensboro, and then your roommate in here drunk off of some peach pie, and he done dropped a whole cup in the middle of the floor. I mean, actual representation of scaring us. Like, I was frightened, like, I didn't even sit down. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call the Uber to the club because I'm ready. Y'all ready? But anyways, fast forward. I stopped hanging with that girl group, but the homeboys still my homeboys to this day. That's actually how I met my emotional support ex. Oh, yeah, I know how I wrote this early. Like, also, that's two things I'm doing good at. I haven't talked to my emotional support ex since like January. There's no shade. No shade, no tea towards him either. It's just like, when you want more, you gotta actively do better to get more. Like, you can't just keep doing the same old tricks. Like, no. You want better, you gotta do better, like I said. But, yeah, anyways. So that's how I met the emotional support ex. He was close friends with the homeboy that was the hood pharmacist. I knew the homeboy before I knew him. I met him through the homeboy. Anyways, so yeah, I met my emotional support ex at my homeboy party. My homeboy threw a party, and he was there, and that's how I met him. I should have ran, but yeah. I should have ran. I don't regret it. It taught me a lot, but like, I gave him a lot. Like, okay, the only reason I'm telling you all this because y'all gotta keep up. Y'all gotta know, like, as I go through the story. So boom, emotional support ex, met him through my homeboy at a party. Now, the emotional support ex, he was like the first person that I was ever grown with, okay? Keep that in mind, hold that as a mental note. It'll be another conversation for another day. But yes, I didn't start being grown until my sophomore year of college. Boom. So, like I said, this is college, fast forward to senior year. Me and the ex were broken up at this time, but we were still friends. So I was in another relationship by this time. It was now like fall break, and the dude I was in a relationship with was in Atlanta. Like, yeah, fast forward, it was fall break, and I was going home to see him. One thing about me, once I started dating somebody, I'd be all about that one somebody. Like, I'm not boy crazy, I ain't never been that. But like, if I'm dating you, I'm focused on you. It's like no outside, I'm locked in. So yeah, we had already planned that I was coming home and me and him was gonna kick it. With it being fall break and me going home, Bethany was like she needed to find somebody, she needed to find, getting ahead of myself. Bethany was like she needed to find something to do because her outside friend group had went home too. And so I then suggested, I was like, why don't you go hang out with my homeboy in the hood pharmacy? So now we're gonna give them nicknames. We're gonna call the homeboy Cody, and we're gonna call my emotional support ex Dan. Okay, so we got Cody and Dan. Cody's the homeboy, Dan is the ex. So boom, we had all knew each other. We had been grabbing food, going to the movies, game nights, all of that. So I was like, why don't you just go have a game night with Cody and Dan? Mind you, Bethany had been telling me this whole time anyway that she thought that Cody was cute. Like she wanted to hop down. So I'm already putting two and two together like, duh, girl, have a game night. They all thought that was a great idea. Blue, you over there having nightmares. Hey! Blue! So I'm already putting two and two together like, duh, girl, go have a game night. Everybody thought that was a great idea. So boom, it's 4 a.m. I'm in Atlanta. Y'all, I swear on my life, I will never forget this call. It's 4 a.m. and I'm kicking it, with my boyfriend, with my dude. And my phone started ringing. So I grabbed it, like, I'll never forget, like I was laying down, I'm kicking it, and my phone ringing, it's like 4 in the morning, so I picked it, like, I leaned over and get the phone, and then I looked at it, and it was Bethany. So I was like, it's 4 a.m., she probably just drunk calling me, like, I'll call her back, So boom, maybe about 10 more minutes go by, and I call her back, and when I call back, she's like, oh, girl, it's nothing, I'm just drunk. I said, is everything okay? She said, yeah, girl, see when you get back. Hung it up, went on by my day. So, remember when I talked about having points to stay on track with the theme? Here's our second point, why boundaries feel lonely. First, we're going to decode it and talk about the loneliness part. Because nobody talks about how quiet it gets when you stop over-explaining, over-giving, and over-performing. Sometimes the silence isn't peace yet. That first layer of silence that we have after we put the first boundary or attempt to place it is grief. You're grieving. Like the old versions of you, the old access that people had to you, the old dynamics that felt familiar but unsafe. It's like your nervous system is just confused. So you know what's crazy? What people don't talk about is how quiet it gets when you start forming the boundary. So in that friendship, I started noticing things that didn't sit right. Nothing dramatic at first, just moments where my spirit clocked something my mind tried to explain away. Like y'all, when I tell y'all, it went from us doing everything together to her like literally avoiding. Like I would call her, she'd be like she just wasn't in the mood to hang. Then she started saying she was depressed. So I was trying to make sure she felt better, like bringing food. Like I'm sitting in a dark room with her, like sitting in the dark with this girl. It would be another name that the Brianna probably would have called her just now, but I'm working on my tongue. Ephesians 4:29. It's hard. But anyways, instead of pausing, I overgave. Instead of stepping back, I extended grace. That's where I found out boundaries get lonely because you're the only one honoring them. So finally, fast forward, one day, her homeboy from her outside friend group was at her house. They were about to do some extracurricular activities, some medicine. Okay? I gotta make sure that I keep inserting that, like, because none of my extracurricular activities involve lustful actions. I have to make sure that you guys understand that. So yeah, they're about to do some extracurricular activities without me. It's kind of crazy, but whatever. I didn't think nothing of it. The only reason I found out is because her homeboy had called me over because he thought it was weird that that's what they were getting ready to do and I wasn't there. So he calls me, invites me over, and he said, Bethany didn't tell you I was coming over, so we could okay. And I was like, nah, Bethany hadn't been saying much to me. You know, she's depressed. Immediately he says, Bethany has something that she needs to tell you. Now, come over, and hung up the phone. So I'm like, oh, great, because I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with this girl for months. So, well, not months, we're going to say weeks. It's probably been like weeks at this time. But you know, in college, like, time goes by so fast. But it had probably only been like a couple weeks anyways. But that homeboy, he like never really raises his voice like ever. Like to this day, he's still pretty calm. Like if he gets upset, like it's like, whoa, he's mad, y'all. You know. Excuse me. So when he raised his voice and he said that, I was just like, you know, let me hurry up and get over there because something is up. So the homeboy doesn't even end up staying. I don't know. I can't even remember for real because I honestly had to go home and throw up after she said what she said. So let me set the scene. So I walked in there, whole room was pitch black. I'll never forget this scene. I walked in there, the whole room was like pitch black. She had on like, maybe 2 candles were lit. She was playing sad music, just sitting over there crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with her? Give her a hug. I get her some tissues. Her homeboy just looking like, I wouldn't give her no tissue if I was you. Like literally. Looking back at her, I'm like, oh my gosh, but I just, me being Bree, walking like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Like, that is so mean. But anyways, yeah. So she's like, Bree, you know when you went home for fall break? Mind you, this like 2 weeks later now. So in college time, it's like a month later. I'm like, she's like, you know when I called you that night? I was like, yeah. She was like, I was really drunk. And I was like, yeah. And in so many words, she was like, she did the grown folks stuff. I still don't even, I'm 29 years old and still don't like saying the SCX word. But anyways. So yeah, she was like, she was really drunk. And in so many words, she was like, she had did it with Cody. She did it with Cody. She said she voluntarily did it with Cody. And then Dan raped her. Now, my fight or flight kicked in, and the very first thing I said was, I'm not going to say what I said, because I'm working on my tongue, but I'm like, we can go hit him right now. Like, he ain't nothing. Like, you can call your brother and call your cops, but don't call the cops till 20 minutes after we get there, because we finna rock his world.
Hands on me again.
So rock it.
Put your hands on me again.
Rock it.
Literally, like, immediately when she told me what happened, I'm like, okay, so why you still sitting on his bed crying? Like, call your big brother, because he stayed down the street. We finna go over there, rock his world, then we call in the cops. So, she didn't want to call This is when I probably should have known that everything wasn't all the way there, or she wasn't telling me the truth, because her brother stayed like 10 minutes away from real, for real. And 10, 15, 20 max. Anyways, her brother did not stay far. If anybody knows North Carolina, stuff don't be that far. It's not like Atlanta. So she didn't want to call her brother, and then she didn't want to call the cops. But like the girl boss in me just wanted to be there for my friend at that moment. So I really wasn't worried about anything else. I was just honoring what she said. So fast forward. One thing about me and Dan, we got each other, and we always showed up for each other. And then we also knew that for stuff that matters, that we will always be real about it. Like, me and Dan went through a lot of things, but he never told no, and I'm not taking up for Dan, because Dan is, by the grace of God, he don't got no kids. But he was giving, he don't know what he doing, that, just giving it out, for real. So it's like, I'm not in no way, shape, or form said I even immediately was just like on Dan's side, because no, like I said, I was on my friend's side. But it's like he never really had to lie to me about or getting down, or like, you feel me? And I knew how he got down, which is why he my ex now. But by the grace of God, I never had any STDs, STIs, but Dan could probably write a whole book on them. I swear. But anyways, my second instinct after she didn't want to call her brother or the cops was to go get tested. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go get tested with you or whatever. So she wouldn't even feel embarrassed. So she would just be like, just go and do it. Because I'm like, he get around. So even, because I still wasn't even talking to Dan, but I'm like, he get around. So I think you need to go get tested, because ain't no telling what he been up to, because me and him not kicking it. Like, I'm in a whole nother relationship. Like, and the only time that he really like locked it down is like when we was on. But when we was off, he was on everything. So yeah, I'm like, you should go get tested, and I'll go get tested with you so that you don't feel embarrassed. At this point, Dan and Cody were like blowing up my phone, because they, at this time, like, I ain't talking to him. So, and that was strange for me not to be talking to them. Like, I always talk to them. If I wasn't talking to Dan, I was still always talking to Cody. Like, mind you, that was my homeboy, and that was also my supplier. So the fact that I wasn't answering none of them or even answering him, like, at this point, they know I know. So now they're trying to talk to me and tell me the knife from their point of view. I'm still not talking to either, though, because a girl told me she just got raped. I believe her. There's nothing that she needs to prove to me. Okay? I'm not one of those. And I think this was literally like the start of the Me Too movement, y'all. Told y'all it was like 2018. So yeah, like this was actually when like the Me Too movement had started getting serious. Like there's protests everywhere. So yeah, like girl told me she got raped, she got raped. So fast forward a couple weeks, and now it's homecoming. I feel weird about everybody still, but in Greensboro, in true HBCU culture, we put our BS to the side for a week of fun. Like, just what it is, greatest homecoming on earth. Yeah, you ain't been to a homecoming till you been to a G-home. I'll die on that. But anyways, this should have been my first red flag. But in my mind at that time, I'm thinking everybody processes things differently. So she still wanted to go to the bar crawl and hang out. And I was like, are you sure? I was like, they're going to be there, right? And I was like, we're going to see them today, right? Like, we don't have to go. I'm like, screw the tickets. Like, we don't have to go. She's like, girl, I'm okay. I really want to go. Like, I don't want to sit here and think about that. Like, I just want to go. So I'm like, all right, cool. So the day is going well, and then my childhood close friend at the time had came up for homecoming, as well as her mom, and my mom was there too, and my dude had came up there that I was dealing with, but we didn't broke up. Oh my god, me and that dude was so, oh my gosh, like, bruh, they don't ever want to let me go. Like, I get tired of it, and I'll be like, no, I'm done. That's the thing, like, I will break up with somebody in a heartbeat. You don't gotta never worry about me staying somewhere. If I don't like it, I am done. That's with anything. Like, I am a serial leaver. So, yeah, like, I don't know, like I've been making Pinterest boards, like expressing my feelings and stuff like that. Like, so them things that when like God's daughter doesn't beg, daughter of the Most High, like, no, I be meaning that for real. Like, I will leave. But yeah, so my childhood close friend came, her mom came, my mom came, and then my dude, that was my dude, came, and I had even told him that he didn't even need to come up there. There's a lot going on, but he decided he wanted to come up there. Let me bring us to another point. The boundary muscle. Okay, the third point to keep up with this theme is that the boundary is like a muscle. So I'm sure everyone should know how a bar crawl works. If not, look at it. Anyway, so we're downtown and we're having a good time. At this point, I've been drinking, and so has Dan. I don't know why I just said I've been drinking. Like, got nervous. Like, it was college. It was my old life. Okay. So, anyways, I was drinking. Dan hit me up. And like, I understand you're not talking, but we've always been real with each other, and you know I ain't never had to take nothing from nobody. Yeah, I'm like. But he's like, I see your little friend came down here too. But if you want to treat, you can meet us, and then you can meet us here. And then he dropped the location. And it just so happened to be right across from the bar that I was at. So at this point, I was gonna say I didn't tell my ex, but they was both my ex at this point. So anyways, yeah, at the time, technically, but the one that wasn't even supposed to be in Greensboro in the first place, I told him not to come down there. He was not supposed to be there. We were not together. I don't know what told you to mosey in my childhood close friend's car. And that's another thing, because me and that girl not even friends no more. But that was weird, because we were supposed to be besties, and I done told you, first of all, you know me and this man just to fill up, and I done told you that I don't want this man here, and you let this man get in your car and you bring him here.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
On top of all the stuff that you know that I got going on, that girl had actually been trying to ruin my life, clearly. I just didn't know. She secretly hated me for our whole life, I guess. I knew the girl ever since we was like diaper days, like besties. Like, I knew her ever since I was like 4 years old. And like, now that we aren't cool anymore, and I look back and I replay a lot of the things, like, I'm just like, dang, were you ever really my friend? But anyways, yeah. So now he didn't drop the location, tell me something, if you want to drink, you could just meet us here. So at this point, I'm still in a whole different bar though, with my childhood close friend, Bethany, and my ex from Atlanta. I didn't give him a name, so we're not gonna name him. But yeah, so the ex from Atlanta or whatever, we all in the bar together. Me, the ex from Atlanta, Bethany, and my childhood close friend. So at this point, me and the ex from Atlanta are on FaceTime with one of our mutual homeboys. So I told both of them, because I couldn't hear him. Mind you, he had called me, and he was my best friend at the time. So like, everybody know when he called me, I'm going to answer and we're going to chop it up. So the bar was too loud, so I'm like, hey, I'm going to step outside to finish this call with Bestie. And so they're like, all right, cool. So at that point, I stepped at the bar so that I could hear him. And then after I got off the phone with him, I had been drinking already, so I already forgot to go back inside with him. I decided to go across the street to Dan and Cody, because I haven't talked to them this whole time or whatever. But it's like something was just giving fishy. And the fact that she said that she still wanted to go to the bar crawl and all this, I'm just like, she didn't want to call the cops. She didn't want to call her brother. I'm like, let me go hear what they got to say. And one thing about Dan and Cody, phones was always there. And I'm literally like a princess whenever I'm with them. Like, I don't have to lift a finger. Ever. Even to this day. They treat me like the princess that I am. So, well, when it comes to things like that, Dan wasn't. Dan. But it was, yeah, so I'm always straight when I'm with them. So at this point, me and my childhood friend, we like toasted to smithereens. I forgot all about my ex from Atlanta and Bethany in that bar across the street. Like, we just going to town. So Bethany started blowing my phone up, and I was like, oh, snap. So when rewind. When I met up with Dan and Cody, they showed me their message threads with Bethany. Y'all, Bethany had no shame in her game in the messages. Mind you, she done told me that didn't grape her and all these sad stories and all this other type of stuff. So, yeah, Bethany had no shame in her game in the messages. Y'all want to know what's crazy? Afterwards, I linked with her outside guy friend to do our medicine like we usually do. And he was like, yeah, when she told us the story, she said they had a group project and she enjoyed it thoroughly. Put two and two together. That's how she told them the story. Okay? Yeah. So he was like, that's why he was so upset that day when he came over and she hadn't even told me yet because he thought I knew. So boom, back to my phone blowing up. Bethany is cursing me like slap out. Whole time, y'all, Bethany had been actively texting Dan that whole day. Like, she had been texting him since they had their group project all the way up to the bar crawl. She was texting him at the bar crawl. So she saw when Dan texted me and said, come pull up for the drink. So, yeah, she has still actively been texting him. Y'all, sorry, telling this story just brings me back to like, oh gosh, I can't believe I went through this. And I can't believe this happened. Like, me? What was the reason? You know that crazy me?
What was the reason?
But anyways, boom, she had saw when he texted me, and she knew where I was the entire time. Mind you, in the message threads, they were debriefing and all. All he kept saying was, don't tell Bree. Yo, they were debriefing so much that the girl got off to him saying, don't tell Bree, please don't tell Bree. How are you even? Like, oh my God, just thinking about that is crazy. So like, you're actively being told, don't tell Bree. Like, somebody is inside of you and actively thinking about somebody else and you are still okay with this? Like, your self-esteem is below hell. But anyways, basically in the thread, he's like, so when did grape happen? So I'm going to paint the scene for you as vividly as it was painted for me. She was apparently giving from the part of your body that you used to talk and giving from the part of your body that you use to release urination and other bodily fluids at the same time. So, he goes, Bethany, you've been saying you want to do this for a long time, or you wanted this for a long time. She then goes, yes, you are correct, but it was always just a thought. If I didn't get drunk, I wouldn't have done it. This is news to me. Well, yeah. So now this is news to me because this being your whole thought the whole time, you never told me that you like, I never knew you liked him or you wanted to do this.
So I am confusion.
But anyways, yes. He then says he understands they were all too drunk and they wouldn't have agreed to that if there wasn't too many drinks taken. So again, where did Grape come into play? She immediately switches and says, so you're just going to keep hanging with Bree like nothing happened? And that's when like literally all hell broke loose. Like, cause girl, what did you think? So, boom. She answered the text like, so you're just going to keep hanging with Bree like nothing happened. Boom. So then that's really, alright, so boom. What's crazy is, remember I told you that I hadn't talked to none of them. I hadn't talked to Dan or Cody before the bar crawl, but they had still been blowing my phone up and sending me like screenshots and stuff. So I had already read pretty much their side of the story, but like not really listened to it. I didn't say anything or anything like that, but like, I just took a sneak peek at what they had to say. So boom, my childhood close friend was coming up there, and then she done let my ex tag along with her. I'm like, whatever, we're gonna do homecoming. The girls still wanna go to homecoming, like, designated driver, screw it. So after homecoming, then I just did the friendship. Like, I mean, we done made it this far. She done sat in my face and did this for this long after doing them, like, what's one more week? So boom, after that we go home for Thanksgiving break and we'll both move on with our lives. So talking to them downtown in person kind of just glued everything together. I told y'all, he's smart, he saw a moment and he took it. But she threatened to leave me, which was crazy work. So like, how am I? Bruh.
But he looks at me, and I look at him, and he looks at me.
So I'm like, how am I the one that you're upset with? Like, how are you still even mad at me? You're the one in the wrong. But I mean, I guess, you wrong. They wrong. For y'all being wrong, I don't know. And I like to hold myself accountable. Like, maybe it was wrong to use her as a designated driver. I'll take that. But I'm still like, what are you mad at? What? So fast forward to a week later, everyone has gone home. My mom, my childhood friend, my ex, like the whole squad. This girl waited till everyone was gone to drop her balls. I mean, she gets on Twitter and she starts typing away. I was walking my dog one day. She acted like she was going to press the gas to scare me. Yeah, I walked right up to her car and knocked on the window and asked her if she had an issue. Mind you, this is Jack and Jill that I done turned up. So all this slang, all this aggression, it's literally my flow, bar for bar. How you going to use my words on me? So a couple days go by after that, and she just was feeling extra froggy that day. Like, I should have known something. So I was really packing my car to go home for Thanksgiving break, and she came outside like all ballsy. I said, man, what's up with you? Why you mad at me? And you screwed my friends. You the one that made it weird, so that made her mad. But like, one thing about me, if I got something to say, I'm gonna say it. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably not a lie. But I am learning that everything don't have to be said, or it's kind of like how you say it. But yeah, I was like, why you mad at me? You screwed my friends. You the one who made it weird. We could have still all been one big happy family. You did this. So she swung, and that was the only lick she got too. Her first lick, it was a little, she me right here. But yeah, boom. So we fighting outside the apartment, and I'm like beaming her head on the window. And y'all, why do this girl mama come out the house swinging a Swiffer mop at me? Yes, her mother. So, y'all know I used to dance. So I caught the rhythm quick. So while I caught the mop, while she was swinging it, I'm swinging on her daughter. She's swinging this mop at me, and I happen to catch it, and I threw the mop. So at this point, I'm fighting the mama and the daughter, like at the same time, y'all. And they're trying to give me the fall, but I'm not doing that because they were bigger. Like, I'm gonna insert a picture of these girls so y'all can see them. Like, I don't know why. Well, I do know why the big one always comes with a small one, thinking that's gonna intimidate. But not me. What I told y'all in the beginning. If I can try to show the God that I got heart, I don't understand what these people don't understand. But anyways, yes. So I'm fighting the mom and the daughter at the same time. They're trying to give me the fall, but I'm not doing that. So they're pulling me towards the house, but I'm like still swinging. So that's when 2 dudes was outside and saw them trying to close the door. They came and they had like put their foot in it so like they couldn't get the door. But they watching the fight, so you know I'm not getting my butt handed to me. Y'all, like I'm really going to town. Like they like this little girl. Yes. They, the boy that had put his foot in the door, like he had to eventually move his foot because the girl, I told you it was bigger, so the daughter was like literally gonna break that man's ankle if he didn't move it out the way. So he finally moved his foot. So at that point, now I'm going like backwards. So I done tripped over the little step into the house. So boom, the daughter is trying to lock the door as I done fell backwards on the floor. So the mama get on top of me. Now at this point, if you want to swing like you 20, you're going to get these 20-year-old hands. Nobody told you to touch me. My mama always said keep your hands to yourself. And if somebody hit you, you hit them back. I was just doing what I told me to do. So, boom, like, I'm fighting the mama now at this point. She swung on me, I'm swinging back. So she turns around, she's like, don't hit my mother. I'll never forget that. So then she runs up to me or whatever. And so then the mama moved, and me and the daughter started back fighting. And y'all, like the mama picked up like this big bamboo plant and tried to throw it at me. Like, and I used to be like, I don't know what made me move, but Holy Spirit, like, y'all, when I tell y'all, I dodged it so bad, like, that would have been my life if he didn't like tell me to move in that split second. But literally, it was like that, like she's like, bruh, like it was almost my head. Like he was just like, Bobby, leave, and I was like, dude. Like literally, so then the plant like fell, and it had a plant inside of it, so it was like a bamboo plant. So it had like the little beads, and it was in like a glass vase, and literally in the split of a second, like I moved my head, and it's like, boom. So boom. At that point, I'm turned up, like, so I didn't get up, I didn't got up, and I'm like done fighting the daughter. I'm back to the mama because now you're trying to kill me over what you're doing to me. So like, we had islands in like our kitchen. So the mama going over to the island, like, and she just throwing stuff at me. She threw wine glasses, she threw coffee mugs, like, she was just throwing stuff. But like, I just couldn't believe this lady just tried to kill me. So I'm not even seeing nothing but putting my hands back on this lady. So literally, she just hollered out when she didn't have nothing else to throw, and I was literally right in her face. She's like, Brianna, stop! And I just like snapped me back, like. So then after that, I had called my mama, and mind you, my mama went back to Atlanta. But I called my mama on FaceTime. My mama didn't answer at first, so then the lady started laughing. She said, how you trying to call somebody to pull up? I'm like, nobody calling nobody to pull up. I just handle what I need to handle. I'm calling my mama to tell my mama on what you just did. So I called my mama, and because mind you, at this point, they didn't try to lock me in the house. Like, we had a front door, we had a back door, but they didn't lock the back door, and I peeped that as I was talking to my mama. But yeah, they locked the front door, and it was like, I'm calling the cop. How you gonna swing on me, pull me in here, and then try to call the cops on me? Make it make sense. But anyway, so I called my mama, and I'm like, you won't believe what just happened to me. Oh my. And okay, I was in my flesh back then, so I'm saying all kind of words like this old A word, B word, just jump me with her daughter, these two fat B words. Like, I'm just going in because I'm just like, what? And my mom from Detroit. So my mom was like, what? I'm on my way. I'm like, you're 5 hours away, because she in Atlanta at this point. I'm like, girl, it's done and over with by the time you get here. Like, they're going to be long gone by the time you get here. So then the mama was like, you don't need to come up here. You need to calm down. No, the mama was like, no, you're outrageous. And then this one mama started talking some sense in her, because the lady gonna go, if that was your daughter, you would have did the same thing too. Mama was like, no, I wouldn't. Mama said, I would let them fight if they wanted to fight and get their ones, and then that would have been it. I would never put my hands on nobody's child as a grown woman. So then her mama got silent. And then so after that, mama was like, Bree, go home. I was like, I'm about to. And then that's when they had both ran to the front door like some dummies. And so I ran to the back door because nobody was at the back door. And I ran out the back door, and I went back to my house. So then maybe like 10 minutes later, the cops ended up knocking at my door. And so they was knocking at the door. I come outside. They're like, we looking for Brianna Poole. I'm like, that's me. And they said, you're Brianna Poole? My job, I told y'all these girls is two big girls, so the cops is even surprised. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Let me get back, because I just vividly went back to telling the story. I ain't even have to read the notes. That's how much that is, like, still a shock to me. Like, I fought a girl and her mama, and they jumped me. Cops showed up, knocked and said, we look for Brianna Poole. I said, this is she. They're like, you're Brianna Poole? They told me that she was, and so boom, blah, blah, blah. So then that's when they told me that she was going to press charges on me. So then I had went back to the station because I was going to counter press. Like, girl, you already done made my life hard enough. And if we playing a cop game, then okay. Y'all riddle me this. Now the girl done got her mom involved. She done got a detective and said, okay, boom. Boom. So y'all, remember I told you that she didn't want to go to the cops. She didn't want to tell her brother. She didn't want to do none of that. So after all this didn't happen, she decided to tell her mom a whole different, completely side she didn't tell her mama the story that she told me or whatever, but not the story that she told the friends. But now, mind you, she's just now telling her mama why she even fighting me or why this is even going on. Months later. So Yeah, so she got her mom involved, and she got a detective, and she said that Dan raped her, not Cody. So she said she willingly did Cody, but didn't do Dan, even though they did each other at the same time. Okay, so boom. So they do a great kid test, but it was useless at this point because it had been like a month. And then also, Bethany didn't know that I had the screenshots from everyone's messages, not just hers. I had Dan's, I had Cody's, I had hers and Dan's and Cody's. I had everybody's. When the detective had got in touch with me and my lawyer, whatever, I just saw all the screenshots, and then we had to end up going to court. Yeah, I had to go back to North Carolina for 3 months after I graduated, still dealing with this. But yeah, the case was eventually dropped. She transferred all her classes online and had moved back home. She didn't even walk graduation. And that's so crazy because thank God I've changed now, and I want to say like that I won't do it if I see her. But for a very long time, I said I don't care if I was 85 and in a walker. I would whoop her every time I saw her. But now that I am trying to be more like Christ, and a lot of my friends, maybe my niece, shout out to my niece, told me that a part of being like Christ is I have to let that part go. And I do, honestly, like, cause it's like, what's the reason? It's done and over with. It did, like, it happened, and it's just like, I guess in this moment right now, I'm forgiving her. But for the longest, if I saw that girl again, I was ready. But I don't even think I want to do that anymore. And that's kind of big coming from me. I didn't think that I would ever see that day. Even when I wrote this 3 months ago, I said I don't care if I'm 85 with the walker. I'm whooping her every time I see her. That was 3 months ago when I wrote this. And now I'm coming to y'all and I'm like, I don't even think I want to whoop her no more. Like, it's done and over with. She did what she did. Ain't no coming back from it. And then even if I do whip her, then what? Like, we still was never gonna be friends again. Like, I already did what I need to do. What I need to do it again for? Like, yes, I would like to have a fair one, and I really want my mama wanted my mama to put her hands on her mama just to show her, like, girl, what? But it's like. And honestly and truly, I really do think that Jesus has really handled it and still handling it. So, yeah. But looking back, the boundary wasn't supposed to come after the betrayal. It was supposed to come after the first discomfort. I confused loyalty with tolerance. Emotional intelligence would have said pause, observe, and distance. So bringing us back to our point, boundaries are a muscle, and in that situation, mine was weak. Not because I didn't know better, but because I didn't want to accept what I was feeling. Emotional intelligence is trusting discomfort before it turns into chaos. And just like any muscle, when you first start using it, it's sore. You'll second guess yourself and you will feel dramatic. You'll want to backtrack, but discomfort doesn't mean that you're wrong. Eventually, I had to choose distance, not because I was angry, not because I wanted revenge, but because clarity had finally caught up with compassion. And I learned something important. Not every boundary needs a conversation. Some just need consistency. And y'all, I love Dan to death. I've talked to Dan at least twice to y'all already. But I've also realized, like I said, that other coping mechanism, the desire is gone. You gotta pray. You gotta be specific when you pray. But yeah, like when I wrote this, I said me and Dan are better off platonic, but honestly, me and Dan are better off in the past. The thoughts, the memories, that's cool, but me and Dan can no longer. You know, that's a wound. And that wound gotta be patched up and let go. You feel me? I can't keep reopening it. You feel me? So yeah. God's grace covered me even when I stayed longer than I should have. Grace is realizing you didn't abandon yourself on purpose, you were learning. So sometimes God lets you stay until you understand why you need to leave. So if you're listening and you're struggling to hold a boundary, especially with someone close, you're not weak, you're just becoming aware. And awareness is where boundaries begin. We have now made it to the Shake the Static, probably my favorite segment throughout the entire show. If you've ever watched an episode of iCarly, then you should already know what's up. It's time for some random dancing. All right, so pause the thinking. If you're listening at home, stand up. If you're in the car, shoulders only. Movement helps release the emotions you don't have words for. Sometimes your body needs to process what your mind keeps looping. So 30 seconds or so to give it all you got.
If I do anything you
I'm learning that boundaries don't make you cold, they make you clear. Clear about what you allow, clear about what you need, clear about who gets access to you. And clarity is kindness, even when people don't receive it that way. So, if you're in a season where setting boundaries feel uncomfortable, lonely, or confusing, you're not failing. You're growing. Going back to our word from earlier, mine was abide. Has yours shifted? Although mine hasn't shifted, I will add alignment with it. My 2026, I just want to abide in alignment with Christ. Guys, we have now made it through another episode of Diary of a Yapper podcast show. Oh gee, episode number 3. Fun fact, most pods don't last after 3 episodes. So y'all know we're going to at least make it to episode 4 off the strength. Duh. So in the next episode, we will have our first classmate. I'm going to talk about my village, having a support system and help with getting through life. It can't be done alone. So y'all going to see my siblings probably. They want to get her so bad. So I think that'll be fun. So with that being said, thank you for sitting with me today. If this episode resonated, send it to somebody who's learning how to choose themselves. And remember, you don't owe anyone access just because you used to allow it. That's a wrap for today's episode of Diary of a Yapper, where purpose meets personality. Remember, your story is still being written, so keep showing up as the main character. Until next time, it's your girl Bree. Stay blessed, stay booked, and stay beautiful, my little yaplings.
Lately I've been going through some things that's really got me down.
put your hands together. Come on.
I need somebody to help me come and turn my life around.
I feel like having some church up in here. Come on, chat.